You wake up, shuffle to the kitchen, and crack a couple of eggs into the pan, just like you've done for years. It feels comforting, familiar, even responsible. After all, eggs are healthy, right? High in protein, full of good fats, and rich in nutrients for your brain and muscles. But what if this simple habit, done with the best of intentions, is quietly working against your body now that you're over 55? What if the foods you pair with your eggs each morning are draining your energy, disrupting your digestion, or blocking essential nutrients from reaching your cells? Most people don't realize it, but the aging digestive system becomes more sensitive, more reactive, and less forgiving. And that means certain combinations that once worked fine in your 30s or 40s may now leave you feeling heavy, sluggish, or even strangely anxious. Yet because the changes are subtle, we often don't trace them back to what's on our plate. Instead, we blame stress, lack of sleep, or just getting older. But sometimes it's not age, it's accumulation. Day after day, meal after meal, small mistakes that seem harmless but quietly chip away at your well-being. And eggs, yes, even eggs, can be part of the problem, not because they're bad, but because we stopped asking the right questions about how we eat them. So today, let's take a closer look. 3 small mistakes you might be making every time you prepare eggs, and the simple fixes that could help your energy, digestion, and focus return in ways you hadn't felt in years. Because after 55, your food doesn't just fill you, it shapes you. And before we begin, ask yourself, is the way I've always eaten still right for the body I have now? Section 1. Eating eggs with refined foods. Right arrow energy crash. You sit down at the breakfast table, ready to start your day. The aroma of sizzling eggs mixes with the warmth of toast fresh from the toaster. Maybe there's a side of jam, a pancake with syrup, or a soft roll from the local bakery. It's a scene that feels comforting, nostalgic even. What could possibly be wrong with such a familiar morning routine? But here's the twist. That very plate could be setting you up for fatigue, brain fog, and metabolic imbalance for the rest of the day. For years, we've been told eggs are a powerhouse of nutrition, and they are. But what you eat with your eggs matters just as much as the eggs themselves. And if you're over 55, your body may no longer process that classic egg and toast breakfast the way it once did. Instead of fueling your morning, it could be quietly draining you, and it all starts with refined carbohydrates. What's the most common breakfast pair with eggs? White bread, pancakes, croissants, biscuits. Even sticky rice or processed cereals in some households. These refined foods digest quickly, too quickly. They lack fiber, and their simple carbohydrate structure gets broken down into glucose at lightning speed. This rapid release floods your bloodstream with sugar, and your body responds with a sharp spike in insulin to bring levels back down. For someone in their 30s, this cycle might go unnoticed. But at 55 or beyond, this sugar roller coaster can be devastating to your energy, your mood, and your long-term health. Let's go deeper. After 55, your metabolism slows, your muscle mass naturally declines, and your insulin sensitivity weakens. That means your body is less equipped to handle sudden glucose spikes and crashes. The result? A few hours after breakfast, you may find yourself feeling tired, heavy, foggy in the head. You might reach for more caffeine or sugar, creating a second wave of imbalance. Over time, this pattern leads to chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and weight gain, especially around the belly. But it doesn't stop there. The brain suffers too. Eggs contain choline, a vital nutrient for memory and cognitive sharpness. But when paired with refined carbs, the inflammation caused by sugar spikes may interfere with how choline works in your brain. That means you could be eating eggs for your brain health, yet cancelling out their benefits on the very same plate. Think about how many mornings have passed like this: eggs on toast, followed by a slow, dragging sense of weariness mid-morning. You blamed poor sleep, stress, or aging. But what if it's breakfast that needs to change, not you? Here's where most people misunderstand the issue. It's not about avoiding eggs, and it's not about eliminating carbs. The problem is refined carbs, those stripped of fiber and micronutrients that digest too fast for the body to handle properly. This is especially critical after 55, when digestion slows, insulin response weakens, and blood sugar becomes more volatile. And yet these are the exact foods many people over 55 cling to because they're soft, easy to chew, or comforting in texture. But comfort comes at a cost. Now, what can you do instead? You don't have to give up carbs or breakfast joy. It's about upgrading your pairings. Swap white bread for whole grain toast. Use sprouted bread or sourdough, which has a lower glycemic index and contains natural probiotics. If you want something hearty, try roasted sweet potatoes. They're rich in fiber, beta-carotene, and slowly digested starches that support a more stable release of energy. Add sautéed greens or avocado slices for extra nutrients and healthy fats. Or pair your eggs with a small portion of cooked quinoa, which offers protein and fiber in one gentle grain. These foods work with your body, not against it. It's important to understand that this isn't about calorie counting or diet trends. This is about the hormonal and metabolic shifts that occur with age, and learning how to eat in a way that respects those shifts. Eating eggs with refined bread may have worked in your 30s, but in your 60s, that same habit could be pushing you toward fatigue, brain fog, and poor blood sugar control. And these are not just aging problems. They are modifiable, reversible patterns if you start asking the right questions and making small changes. There's also a deeper emotional layer. Many people in their 50s and 60s find themselves falling back on old food habits because they provide comfort in an uncertain world. A warm piece of toast feels like stability. A familiar breakfast sandwich feels like home. But sometimes the habits that once nourished you now need to evolve, not because they were wrong, but because you have changed. Your body's needs have changed, and honoring that isn't a loss, it's a new kind of respect. You may also be caring for an aging parent and making them the same breakfasts they've eaten for decades. It feels loving. But perhaps it's time to ask, are these meals still serving them? Are we keeping routines out of love or out of habit? After all, true care is not just about giving, it's about giving what nourishes. The truth is, eggs are still one of the best foods you can eat after 55, if you let them shine on the plate, instead of burying them under blood sugar chaos. The next time you prepare breakfast, pause, look at your plate. Does it feel balanced or rushed, supportive or soothing but sabotaging? Your answer will tell you more about your health than any lab test. And the beauty is, you don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just one thoughtful swap each morning can start shifting the direction of your day and over time your life. So ask yourself this: how much energy have I been losing just because of what's next to my eggs? SECTINON2. Eating eggs with tea or soy milk right arrow hinders nutrient absorption. What if the healthiest part of your breakfast is quietly being wasted? Imagine this. You wake up early, prepare a simple yet nourishing breakfast. Steamed eggs, perhaps a soft-boiled yolk still glistening, a slice of toast or some greens, and next to it, a warm cup of tea or a comforting glass of soy milk. It feels balanced, calming, and light. But here's the problem. This gentle ritual might be stopping your body from absorbing key nutrients you desperately need after 55. Not because any of the foods are inherently bad, but because when paired together, they interfere with each other's benefits. It's like trying to listen to two songs playing at once. Neither one comes through clearly. The result: your body does the work of eating, chewing, and digesting, but the nutrients don't fully arrive where they're needed. Over time, this silent nutrient blockade could be affecting everything from your memory to your muscle strength, and you wouldn't even know it. Let's make this real. Many older adults, in an effort to simplify their meals, combine comforting items without questioning the deeper science. A soft egg and a glass of soy milk, a poached egg and hot green tea, It feels light, easy on digestion, and yes, individually each item has health benefits. Tea provides antioxidants, soy is plant-based and full of protein, but when paired with eggs, especially in the first meal of the day, they create an invisible wall in your digestive tract. Most people don't feel anything immediately. No cramps, no nausea, but what's happening inside is a slow erosion of benefit. The egg's rich protein, biotin and iron bound up, neutralized, blocked. And for a body that's already absorbing nutrients less efficiently after 55, this is not a minor problem. It's a compounding one. Let's break down the mechanics. Eggs are high in protein, and they contain vital micronutrients like choline, biotin, B7, iron and B12, nutrients that support brain function, energy metabolism, skin and hair health, and red blood cell formation. But the white of the egg contains avidin, a natural protein that binds to biotin and makes it difficult for your body to absorb unless the egg is cooked properly. Now introduce soy milk. Soy contains natural enzyme inhibitors, specifically trypsin inhibitors, which interfere with protein digestion. When you consume soy and eggs together, your digestive system faces a double challenge. One food is making it harder to break down protein, the other is actively blocking the absorption of a key vitamin. And when you add tea, especially black or green varieties, the situation worsens. Tea is rich in tannins, which bind to iron and calcium, making both harder to absorb. Iron is crucial for oxygen transport and energy, and calcium for bone strength. And yet, by simply sipping tea with your egg-based breakfast, you could be reducing the amount of these nutrients your body actually retains. This is especially concerning for those already at risk. After 55, biotin levels may drop, often signaled by fatigue, hair thinning, brittle nails, or skin issues. Iron deficiency becomes more common, especially in postmenopausal women, leading to fatigue, brain fog, and even anxiety. Calcium absorption declines naturally with age, increasing risk for osteopenia and osteoporosis. So when someone over 55 sits down to what seems like a healthy breakfast, an egg, some soy milk, and tea, they may be unknowingly creating the perfect storm for long-term nutrient deficiency. But because the effects are not immediate, because they build slowly over weeks, months, and years, we rarely question the meal. We blame our age, we blame stress. We think, I just don't have the same energy anymore, or maybe I need more supplements. But perhaps what you need is not more pills. Perhaps you need less interference. So what's the better approach? You don't have to stop drinking tea or soy milk, but timing and pairing are everything. If you love tea, enjoy it 30-60 minutes after your meal. This allows your body to digest and absorb nutrients from eggs before tannins enter the picture. Herbal teas like chamomile, ginger, or peppermint are gentler on digestion and don't interfere with nutrient absorption, making them excellent breakfast companions. If you enjoy plant-based milk, consider almond or oat milk instead of soy in your morning routine. These options don't contain the same enzyme inhibitors and are generally easier on digestion. Better yet, pair your eggs with sautéed greens like spinach or kale, which enhance rather than block iron absorption, especially when drizzled with lemon juice for added vitamin C. And let's not overlook emotional nuance. Many older adults grew up in households where tea with breakfast was a cherished ritual, a quiet moment of reflection before the day began. Letting go of that ritual feels like giving up a part of identity. But reframing the ritual, making tea a mid-morning pause rather than a breakfast companion, preserves the emotional comfort while restoring biological function. This isn't about removing pleasure from your plate. It's about making that pleasure work for you, not against you. You might also consider the people you're preparing meals for. If you're caring for an elderly parent or spouse, paying attention to these pairings becomes even more critical. You may see signs of fatigue, muscle weakness, or emotional flatness and think it's just old age. But sometimes it's chemistry, not mood, not memory, just breakfast. And what about supplements? Yes, many people take iron or biotin pills, but what's the point if you're washing them down with a cup of tannin-rich tea? We talk a lot about what to eat, but we don't talk enough about how nutrients get blocked. And in a body that's already absorbing less, every detail matters. Small tweaks, like when you drink your tea, what milk you pour, and how you compose your plate, can determine whether your body heals or declines. The truth is, nutrient absorption isn't just about food quantity, it's about food context. And when you eat the right foods in the wrong way, you don't just waste nutrients, you waste opportunity to feel sharper, to move easier, to stay stronger longer. So next time you make breakfast, pause before you pour, ask yourself, is this meal helping my body absorb what it needs or quietly standing in the way? Section 3. Cooking eggs incorrectly. Right arrow. Loss of nutrients, creating toxins. You crack the egg, let it sizzle in the pan. Hear that satisfying sound as the white bubbles and the edges crisp to a golden brown. Maybe you flip it, maybe you don't. Maybe you like it sunny side up, or maybe scrambled with a touch of butter. It smells like comfort, it looks like nourishment, but here's a surprising truth. Even the healthiest food can become harmful if you cook it the wrong way. Eggs, often praised as nature's multivitamin, are incredibly sensitive to heat. Cook them too long or at too high a temperature, and the very nutrients you're trying to nourish yourself with begin to break down, degrade, or worse, transform into compounds that contribute to inflammation, oxidation, and cellular damage. And after 55, when your body is more vulnerable to these effects, how you cook your food matters just as much as what you cook. Let's step into a common kitchen scene. It's morning. You're in a rush, or maybe you've just done this the same way for 30 years. The pan is hot. You pour in some oil, often vegetable oil or even margarine, and crack in the eggs. You like them crispy, so you let them cook on high heat until the bottom browns. Or you scramble them until they're firm and dry, maybe a little browned for texture. You add a pinch of salt, maybe a drizzle of soy sauce. It tastes good, it smells nostalgic, but what's happening inside that pan is quietly undoing the goodness of the egg. High heat destroys heat-sensitive nutrients like choline, lutein, vitamin B12, and biotin. These are not trivial losses. Choline is critical for brain function and memory. Lutein protects your vision from age-related decline. Biotin supports metabolism and the strength of your skin, nails, and hair. When these nutrients are degraded, your egg goes from being a brain-boosting, body-strengthening food to something far less potent, and in some cases even inflammatory. Now add oil to the equation. Most people use traditional oils like soybean oil, corn oil, or butter, none of which do well at high temperatures. When overheated, these fats oxidize, forming harmful compounds like aldehydes that can contribute to cellular aging and chronic inflammation. And inflammation, as you know, is not just a buzzword. It's the quiet thread that connects everything from joint pain to heart disease to memory loss. After 55, when the body's ability to neutralize oxidative stress declines, this becomes a crucial detail. So while you think you're feeding your body a clean, protein-rich meal, what you're actually consuming is a food with diminished benefits and increased risk. But here's the subtle emotional challenge. Cooking is intimate. We associate certain smells, sounds, and textures with love, with care, with home. That crisp edge on a fried egg might remind you of your mother. That firm scrambled texture might make you feel done right. Changing the way you cook doesn't just feel like a health decision. It feels like changing something personal, something familiar. But honoring your body now might mean letting go of what used to serve you then. And that doesn't erase the comfort, it deepens it. Let's break down the most common mistakes and their ripple effects. First, overcooking. Whether you're boiling eggs until the yolk turns gray or scrambling until dry, prolonged exposure to heat damages the egg's antioxidant profile. It reduces the bioavailability of lutein and zeaxanthin, two pigments that protect your eyes from macular degeneration and blue light damage. These nutrients are fat-soluble, meaning they need to be gently preserved to do their job. Second, using poor-quality oils. Reheating oils that have a low smoke point, like vegetable oil or butter, causes them to break down into trans fats and toxic compounds. If you're frying your eggs with these oils daily, you're feeding your body a steady trickle of pro-inflammatory compounds that build up over time. Third, cooking at high temperatures. Even if you're using olive oil or avocado oil, better choices, you must watch the heat. Gentle cooking preserves delicate compounds, aggressive cooking does not. So what's the better way? Low and slow. If you scramble eggs, do it on the lowest heat possible, stirring slowly. The goal isn't speed, it's preservation. The same goes for frying. Use a non-stick pan with a small amount of high-quality oil like avocado or extra virgin olive oil and cook until just set. Poaching and steaming are excellent because they use water, not oil, and lower temperatures. Soft boiling is also ideal. 6 minutes gives you firm whites and a yolk that's still rich in nutrients. The key is not to overdo it. Your egg doesn't need to be perfect looking, it needs to be biologically generous. And let's talk about raw eggs. Many people, especially older adults who follow fitness or natural health trends, still believe that raw eggs preserve the most nutrients. But this is misleading. Raw egg whites contain avidin, a compound that binds to biotin and prevents its absorption. Raw eggs also pose a higher risk for salmonella infection, a risk that the aging immune system may not be able to fend off as easily. So in truth, raw eggs offer fewer nutrients, more risk, and less benefit. Cooked eggs, when prepared gently, offer the ideal balance of safety, digestibility, and nutrient retention. Let's zoom out. You may be doing everything right, buying free-range eggs, avoiding processed meats, keeping portions moderate. But if your eggs are scorched in old oil or cooked until the yolk is dry and crumbly, you're cutting the value in half. And at this stage of life, every bit of nutritional value counts. This is the age of cellular repair, of bone preservation, of guarding your cognitive clarity. Why eat the right food in the wrong way? This mistake is so easy to fix, and the payoff is immediate. Many people report better digestion, improved skin texture, and more sustained energy simply by changing how they cook. Imagine that, not more effort, not more expense. Just more awareness. A simple shift in cooking habits becomes a form of self-respect. A way to tell your body, I know you're changing, I'm listening, I'm adapting. And that's the deeper story. This isn't about eggs. It's about how we respond to change. After 55, cooking is no longer just about taste, it's about function, about listening, about slowing down and asking, is this food working for me or just working against time? So the next time you hold an egg in your hand, before you crack it open, pause, ask yourself, am I honoring this food in the way it deserves and in the way my body needs? Sometimes the smallest habits are the ones that shape us most quietly, not because they shout, but because they repeat, morning after morning, bite after bite. And over time, those little repetitions don't just feed the body, they become part of who we are. An egg for breakfast seems harmless, even responsible. It feels simple, natural, clean. But what if something so familiar has been slipping past our awareness, not with loud symptoms, but with quiet erosion? Not a sharp pain, but a slow forgetting. A forgetting of how food works in the body as it changes. A forgetting of how digestion evolves with age. A forgetting that nourishment isn't just about nutrients, it's also about context, about care, about timing. After 55, the body whispers instead of warns. It slows instead of screams. And in that slowness, it asks us to listen differently. This isn't about fear, it's about finesse. You don't need to stop eating eggs. You don't need to reinvent your entire kitchen. But you may need to pause long enough to ask, Does my body still want to be treated the way I've always treated it? Because age doesn't only bring limitations, it also brings the chance for refinement, for deeper listening, for grace, and food more than ever is one of the places where that grace can begin. The mistake is not the egg. The mistake is eating as if nothing has changed when everything quietly has. And maybe this is also about more than food. Maybe it's about the habits we inherited, the quiet rules we never questioned. Eggs go with bread. Breakfast needs tea. Scramble it hot, fry it crisp. Maybe we copied these rituals from our parents who copied them from theirs, not out of science, but out of rhythm. And while rhythm brings comfort, not all comfort is kind, especially not to an aging body that's trying its best to hold on to energy, to clarity, to ease. What we call normal is often just what we've done longest, not what's most aligned. So what happens if you change that rhythm? Not drastically, not dramatically, just gently. What if the same egg was prepared a little slower with a little more attention? What if the drink that follows it was shifted by 30 minutes to let the nutrients sink in? What if the bread beside it was swapped for something that fuels, not just fills? These aren't rules, they're invitations. Invitations to care in a different way, to move from autopilot to awareness, from inherited habit to intentional nourishment. And as you think about this, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones, pause for a moment. Think of your parent, your partner, your sibling who still starts each day the same way. Not out of laziness, but out of love for routine. Maybe they've been waking up tired. Maybe they've been eating healthy but feeling heavy. Maybe no one ever told them that nutrition is not just about what we eat, but how we absorb. And maybe you today could be the one who changes that conversation. Not by lecturing, not by scaring, but by gently asking, what if we tried it this way just once? Because the truth is, we don't lose vitality all at once. We lose it in quiet ways, in overlooked details, in cooking habits passed down like lullabies. But we can reclaim it the same way with quiet shifts, with soft precision, with a new kind of kindness that says, I'm not just feeding you, I'm seeing you. As you are now, not as you were 20 years ago. And maybe, just maybe, when we cook that egg more gently, pair it more wisely, time it more mindfully, something shifts beyond the plate. The morning feels different, the body responds, the day opens with a little more clarity, because it's not just the egg that changed, it's the intention around it. And that intention, over time, becomes health. So the next time you reach for the pan, the bread, the cup of tea, don't ask, what have I always done? Ask instead, what would nourishment look like if I truly listened to what my body is asking for today?